Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Tebikwala and I'm excited to have you back if you are returning, and if this is your first time, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button. So we've been having a discussion about natural laws and spiritual laws. We all know of the law of gravity. That the reason why I'm not bouncing on the ceiling right now, it is because of that law of gravity that works whether I'm aware of it or I'm not. And how for an aeroplane to be able to take off, it has to implement certain laws that will work against the law of gravity, and it uses the law of lift, the law of thrust, the law of drag, and the law of weight. And all these laws combined, they allow an aeroplane to take off. And we also aware that when an aeroplane takes off, it uses more fuel. And now to bring it back into our lives, we know that when we grow up in our environment, in our families, whoever we were raised by, it conditions who we are, and until we get to a certain level of our development where we realize that certain thoughts and certain way of being do no longer work for us, and so we need to relearn certain things, and we then implement certain different discipline, different thinking and different mindsets, so that we can be able to not perish and be of a certain state of what we have seen in our community, or the things that we are fighting against. And so when we look at the natural law of gravity and an aeroplane having to implement certain laws to uplift, then it means for us as well to be able to lift ourselves of circumstances and our norms and our conditioning and our habits and the ways that things have always been. If we are breaking the status quo, it means there are certain laws that we need to implement in our lives, but not forgetting that there's still gravity, because even though the aeroplane may in the plane that these certain laws may be applied that work against the gravity is still there, and if the engine switches off, the aeroplane could fall down. And so also us as well, as we elevate and as we pursue these certain things, it is very important that we do not switch the engine off. So for example, we're speaking about the exercise that everyone has a certain weight that they accept for themselves, that this is the weight that I want for myself. And what naturally happens, and sometimes happens, is that when you see yourself, let's say for me example, 32, 34, when I see myself going off to 36, then I hit the gym, I eat right, then I implement certain disciplines. But as soon as I have that body and I'm getting all the compliments and I love myself and I love my body, then I switch the engine off and I go back to my old ways. And when we do that in our success and also even in our weights, then it means we need just as much fuel as we did when we first started. And as we elevate and as we become, it becomes exhausting to always be starting over, because a lack of discipline and commitment to one thing can lead to a lack of commitment and discipline to other areas of our lives. There are certain things that we can implement discipline in. Some of the things we cannot control, but there are things that we can control and that we should work hard in being able to get a hold of those things and be able to elevate ourselves. When we pursue dreams and we pursue careers and we go after the things that we want, there are things that we must do and we must implement. And it is not so much about us attaining a goal than it is about us becoming, because it is who we are becoming that will be able to sustain us when we get to our dream. There's a program, I blew it, where there's people have won a whole lot of money, and the maximum I've seen there is a year where people have blew that money and they've lost it all. Reminded me of what John Ron said when he said that if you win $100 or $100 million, you better become a millionaire. Otherwise, you're going to lose all of that money, because money responds to you. And so if you just happen and you wake up and you just happen to be at your destination, wherever it is that you want to be, it's not a blessing when when you get a blessing that you cannot maintain. It becomes a curse, because when you can, if you fall in more debts than you ever did, because you have $1 million dollars and you don't know how to take care of it, you're going to become a broke millionaire. So whatever debts you had when you're earning 100,000, then when you're a millionaire, you're going to create million rands debts. So that means it's going to be harder for you than it was before you even got that money. So studying psychology, there's ways that our minds are conditioned. So I was reading through what they say about commitment. What is a commitment? So commitment is an experience of being psychologically attached to something and intending to continue. So it sounds like what I've heard about discipline as well. Discipline is the ability to continue doing what you said you will do, even when the feeling of it is not there. And so I think this is another level it's a higher level of development and of living, where it is not only now about, because besides besides the props or the advantages of exercising, that you only lose weight, it is also our health benefits, and that's something that we should not neglect. It's not something that we should play around and we just do it when we can. We must love ourselves and our bodies enough to be able to handle and to be able to commit our lives into doing something that we know that is good for us. And so commitment and discipline, it is what we need if we have to attain and get the things that we want for our lives and for our journey and for our businesses and all the things that we require. And so I wanted to come in and just speak about that. I don't know what came up for you, and about laws. I don't know what you have learned, but I'm realizing and I'm recognizing even in my own life that there's a certain level of success and there's a certain level of quality of life that that one is able to attain only when they implement certain discipline, and only when they implement certain principles and embody those principles and allow themselves to become who they best can be. Because if we do not live a life of commitment and being disciplined and giving our heart, and being excellent in the things that we do, we would never know, who we'll become. We'll only be, just good enough. We're just talented, but we can never know because we don't stretch ourselves enough. And so let me know on the comments. Please send me comments. Let me know what you think, and if this has spiked any thoughts in you. I will see you on my next video. Ciao.